Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Dim and Kedge for Namaste Rich episode 16 or 17. Not quite sure. I'm pretty sure it's 16. You can check on the YouTube description. Thank you for joining us. Kedge, love you, man. How are you? Welcome.
Oh, no, thanks for always doing the intros, man. Feeling good, man. Yeah, we'll chat about it, I guess, a little bit today. Tad, maybe a little bit burnt out. I think slow, as in been a bit of a hectic last, 30, 45 days or so. So just, I think this week's a bit slower. And I think sometimes you slow down, sometimes hard to ramp back up again. But yeah, we'll touch on it. But overall good, man. Just that going on. What about you?
Thank you for sharing, man. Ironically, I think we're in similar places, man. I think that for me, and I don't know if people at home can relate to this. Maybe they can, but it's like for me, bro, like I feel like maybe this is a fantasy, but it was like I feel like I was on a really good roll for the first 6 months being here in Bali. Like I did have a few setbacks and whatever, but overall was picking up some good momentum. Had to go back to Australia, run the retreat, and I think my body was just going from the Bali heat to middle of winter in Australia, I don't think served me that well. I think it was definitely a good thing that I went back, man. But it was just like, um, it threw me off for sure, man. I'm, proud to say or not, like, yeah, I was disappointed to say it did throw me off, I think. And my health, like, yeah, maybe I was just getting sick and stuff. And, coming back to Bali, I must say today's Friday. I basically came back to Ubud 1 week ago. I must say sincerely, I do feel slowly more grounded and centered in back home. Um, for sure. I think what didn't help is I again got sick on like at some point at the beginning of this week, and man, I'm sure people can relate to this. For me, man, like for me personally, bro, like just the gym and just being in good health is such a good anchor for me because I feel like I go to the gym, I got a good routine, like my head is strong, all that stuff. And then everything else for me flows from it. And maybe someone can critique me and say that that's a dumb strategy. Maybe I don't know. That's okay if they do, but like with the health of and even that's why we were supposed to record yesterday, and I'll probably still cough a little bit today because I'm not still 100%, but I didn't want to miss out on our episode, so but you know what, Kedge, there was one. Can I just say quickly, I know this is a little bit of a rant from Dim, but
Yeah.
quickly say
No,
one
no,
thing,
please go.
bro. There's one thing for sure that I feel made me turn a corner yesterday morning. uh, because I was really reflecting and thinking, man, I don't feel great right now. I feel like, God, like there's a lot of work, which I actually really appreciate. It's very motivating. I think one thing that really helped me turn a corner this week, sincerely, man, like it's super motivating that we've got all this work on our plate that we feel like we know that we can do and that we know what to do. That's like, I feel like such a blessing when you have a lot of work, and you kind of feel like you know what you have to do, like that is way better in my mind than either not knowing what you have to do or not even having work in the first place. So like I find it very motivating, but also kind of overwhelming. And then it doesn't help when you're getting sick, like, and you can't even fucking do the work. So, bro, what helped me turn a corner, for me personally, was on Thursday morning, I realized, okay, why am I feeling, I guess, I don't know if it was depressed or just crap and not settled in and not grounded. And from my studies about even being sick, it's because your body, like at some level, is not feeling settled. It's perceiving that the environment is not, there's issues with the environment. So, man, what I did, as silly as it sounds, I sat there on Thursday morning with my book open, doing the gratitude meditation, and I just hand wrote all the different things that I'm grateful for, man. And like, Bro, it sounds so basic, bro. It helped me so much, man. Like I wrote such a long list of like, even just like when I walked into the cafe on Thursday morning, all the girls working at the cafe in Bali, I mean, were like so happy to see me to the point that they were all joking and stuff. That it broke my state. Like I was kind of like they were just they were asking how I am, and when I was going to answer with like kind of serious answer, they were just in such a joking mood. They didn't even really listen to me. And that was good because
Yeah.
it got me out of,
Yeah.
and it got me joking and stuff as well. And then, man, like I did, and they were just saying, Dim, you're so welcome here. Thank you for being here. Like, you're our most welcome, our favorite guest. And I was like, man, here I am in a foreign country. And actually, when I was doing the gratitude thing, I realized so many times more than I really received, people were saying, welcome, you're home. Welcome. Thanks for coming back. You're home. And bro, I definitely noticed my energy and everything seemed to be improving after that, because I think I just realized, uh, I guess for me personally, how surrounded by love I am. But I think it was just that practice of actually sitting down with a pen and writing the things that I'm grateful for, man. So that's how I'm doing. Thanks for listening.
Nah, amazing, man. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear because I know we spoke about it last time as well. So glad to hear, man. Putting the I guess and it's sometimes so easy to forget as well, right? Sometimes it's all around us, but we're so engrossed. We're tunnel vision on whatever we're working on whatever we're doing, but there's just there's so much beauty around us all the time. Yeah, man. Nah, good. Glad. Um,
And you were mentioning that your week was quite, did
yeah,
you
no,
say
I think
overwhelming or burning out? Like,
yeah. No, even as I was saying, even when I say I was saying 30 to 45 days, but really, to be honest, it's probably been a hectic year all around. Like with as in uh, to the best of my ability, once again, through all the work we've done historically, just like even if things do get hectic, how to keep those things in balance as much as possible. I think we've been running so hard for the whole year, obviously with the business, with obviously had a baby, and amongst and those are probably the two biggest items, and and a bunch of other things too. But to a certain degree, didn't feel it too much. Just felt like I was in an integrated place, doing it to the best of my ability. But then sometimes things are out of your control. And I guess over the last 45 days with work, just things got extremely hectic just because of whatever changing circumstances in the industry. So which led to a huge rush. And on top of that, and I think as at a time where I probably would have maybe wound down a little bit, just like that extra bit of intensity and sometimes out of our control. But I guess life happens, right? Sometimes I guess it hasn't, thank God so far, kid hasn't got sick or anything like that, but those things could happen. People can get unwell, whatever, life happens, right? So I think really now I'm trying to be as conscious as possible and trying to figure out how to get back to that balanced state. But I can tell that this week, I'm not like but I've given myself this week like off in the sense like it's okay. I'm not going to judge it. I'm just going to, if I'm a bit of a lower state than I normally am, it is what it is. But if it isn't next week, I need to like think a bit more actively and figure out how to change it. But yeah, I guess that's where I'm at.
can I offer something then, man?
Yeah, please.
I'd love to know. And I think this would be a sweet activity even for people at home listening to listen to. I'd love to know, uh, what are all the things that you're grateful for, Kedge? If it's not too personal a question, if you'd like to share.
Yeah, and I think like for me, I feel the gratitude part, like, and I'm happy to share. I feel like it. I don't sit there writing. I haven't sit there writing it down or whatever. But I do feel like it's quite embodied. Like I do feel like I'm quite grateful for like my life in general. I know I was saying like almost in all the various aspects. I think I've got like once again like great relationship. The kids a blessing, got great friends, like love what I do for work, like, all these like, and yeah, I think all these things I've got, I feel like it's all there and I know it. And I feel like it's not just, I don't need, sometimes it's good to definitely remind myself, but I feel like it's embodied. But happy to go deeper, like as in if I guess you're trying to get something specific. So if you want to ask questions, but in overall, like, yeah, I am grateful for the life that I have, but maybe sometimes getting specific might be good.
only if you want to, man. In my humble, like I'm not saying what works for me works for you, but in for me, where the real penny seems to drop and where the light bulb seems to turn on is like when I get specific. I actually, I feel like I wrote. I'm pretty sure, pretty confident. I wrote down your name in that list of all the things that I'm, grateful for, man. And it was like really getting kind of overwhelmingly specific about if you want to take this conversation another way, please by all means do, my
Sure.
bro. Like
Yeah.
for me when because I actually feel, I don't know. For me, I just noticed it really helps, like, so consistently for like 10
Mm,
years. Like this
mm,
technique's helped me, man. Like it's just like when I was writing down on Thursday, I actually had tears in my eyes when I was writing it, man, because it humbled me.
mm,
My bro, it's a little bit like when you go to like a third world country, um, and I don't know if you've ever had this feeling, Kedge, but for me, it's like sometimes you go to a third world country and you realize like how much I've realized how much my head has been up my own ass,
mm,
and I'm just like, "What the fuck, man?" Like, here I am just making such a big story and big drama out of all this shit. But man, like, for me, I'm saying this to myself, like, dude, open your eyes and look at this world, man. And like, dude, just shut up and realize like you're doing great. And it just helped me breathe and also helped me realize like it also actually led me to going to giving
mm,
actually, instead of like, it's so people like you and me are, I feel, naturally pretty giving people, so it's a bit of a silly thing for us, in a way it could be argued, for me to be saying to you, but it's like, bro, I don't know, in all that, sometimes I forget just like that real simple, like driving along the street and seeing like an old little granny there who's selling clothes, just like literally sitting on the pavement selling clothes, a granny as beautiful as any of ours. And I just like, I literally was just driving past and I um pulled over like 1 minute up because I saw her and I'm like,
mm,
oh, like, oh, should I not? But and I'm like,
mm,
dude, just stop this. And I pulled over in the, like, just on the pavement on the sidewalk, and I just like ran over to her and just gently just gave her a bit of money, and she was so, it was like in my view, Kit, that moment was the most important moment of my whole life this year. Like
mm.
just holding her hand and giving her this money, and she was obviously trying to give me like a dress. She was selling dresses, and I
Yeah.
was just looking at her eyes. I'm like, no, it's okay. Like I don't need a dress, you know. But man, like I guess what I was trying to explain through embodiment was like,
Yeah.
that's what I mean by great. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you have any narration on that? Like, what do you
Yeah,
think?
no, 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 100%. And feel like, yeah, as in, it does, like, similar to you. Like, I think that comes natural to me. Like, I feel like those things happen, and I notice those things, and I feel like, and even in that, I can be present enough to enjoy it. Um, but the only thing I want to just say, not to say, or a question related to that, is, I guess, that those things are nice, and even when you go overseas and you come back, but then you go back to your, like, as in, it's your world, as in, even though we're part of the bigger world, but then you have your own little world, and not to dismiss other people's problems, but then our problems are still like our own problems, kind of thing. And I think, so what you're saying is 100% true. And yeah, I feel like I live and breathe that as well, but I don't necessarily, and those things are nice, and but it doesn't, I feel like sometimes it doesn't necessarily, like, for example, right now for me, I'm trying to relate that to feeling burnt out from the world that I'm in, right? And as much as I feel like I'm grateful, whatnot, I still, yeah, it's, I guess for me, I'm struggling to see how right now, I don't know if that's going to help me right now in my situation.
Yeah, man. Just like an idea from on my side, man. It's
Yeah.
like something that can break your state. Because I'm sure you've had a moment. I'm sure you've had moments, man. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just, just
No, I
throwing
want
out
to hear it, man.
ideas.
So, like, yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, I'm simply saying, like, I'll tell you what. If you want to hear it, then can I offer to you in this moment, if you're open to it, would you be willing to tell us like a detailed list of the things that you're grateful for? Would you
Oh,
be, if I put you on the spot like that?
yeah, I'm happy to. Like, man, even so minor. Even today, I felt today like had an hour to myself. So my wife, she's gone. She's doing some work. She's driven up to Sydney. So I had me and my dog Gracie, who's actually sleeping behind me there, and we just went out for a walk by the beach. And it was like, given the fact that it's like middle of winter, like sun shining. I think it's like 19 degrees, probably nothing compared to what you are right now. But sun shining, walking by the ocean, and just loving it. It was just great. And I was like, normally would sometimes feel guilty doing that in the middle of the day, but I was just like, you know what, I've got the time. Like I can always find myself some sort of work to do. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to give myself an hour, and just went for a stroll and just soaked it in, and just loved it. Gracie, my dog, she was like being extra slow. She was sniffing around, but I was like, sometimes I'm in a rush and I'm just like, let her sniff, watched her sniff. And I'm getting very specific on one particular thing, but that I had that feeling literally earlier today. And I was like, soaked that in. Definitely felt better coming back for sure. And yeah, I mean, that's one, as in, and is that, I guess those
Yeah,
are the kinds of
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
And unless you want to take this conversation another way, which is super fine,
Yeah.
would you be open to telling us 9 more examples like that?
Oh gosh. Okay. Cool.
That's because that's what I mean. Because you even see that little oh gosh, like that's what
Yeah.
I mean by breaking state. That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
And
And
honestly, as I'm happy to
please,
do it. But it's just, I think I got the point that you just made, because I think even as I was sharing that story, I could feel myself shifting, like, in that moment as I'm sharing that
I
story.
love you so
So,
much, man. I love you so much.
so, so, nah, I get it. And I think, so for me, maybe like, as in, so you writing it down gets it out. And so for me, vocalizing, so obviously it's in my head and I definitely noticed it, but I think I felt it more right then, just like vocalizing it. So same way, I guess, writing it down, I can see, probably that's the case. I feel like even as you first said it, I resisted it a little bit in terms of the whole writing. I'm like, like I feel it, like I blah, blah, blah. But maybe just something, the act of doing it helps it, like, like as you said. So I'm going to,
Amen,
yeah,
man. And I'm not saying we should do this here, but
yeah,
for the sake of this discussion, can you see if that's what one did? Can
yeah,
you imagine if you did 9 more?
100% for sure.
You know that's sort of, so I can explain this for the homies listening at home, but like I really love this stuff. For me, this is actually what life is really about. Like what
Mm,
we're talking about for me personally. And it's like like so kids, for some people it is writing. I know that writing's annoying. I know that. I think it's annoying, like when I'm writing. I think it's annoying, That's
yeah,
kind of why I haven't done it for a little while,
yeah, yeah,
Bro, the other thing that I recommend to some of the boys is I find ChatGPT has the best voice to text like
yeah,
transcription. So just like creating a gratitude journal or a debrief journal is what I have on ChatGPT. And at the end of the day, just like going on a vocal rant, like this is actually when I coached Manny so many years ago now.
yeah,
This is the technique I recommended to him because I realized with Manny, with you, and with me, we're all got the same thing in that in human design, our throat chakra is defined, where all three of us are very vocal. Like we don't have a problem speaking. So I realized, um, why not? I said to him, bro, have a voice journal. And this is before there was any AI. So it was just like he would just voice journal all his frustrations, everything on his mind into notes. Man, I know it sounds silly. Maybe you can speak on this. I actually would love to hear your opinion about this, Kedge, but I feel like um it's for me, my projection is it's very easy for all of us to fall in the trap of like I know it in here, but there's something different between knowing it in here and then actually viscerally either talking about it, voice journaling it, or writing it. I'd love any thoughts you have on that. 'Cause you just had that
yeah. No, as
experience.
in, no, I think, man, what you're saying, I think every time I've done these exercises, I think I definitely gravitate towards, I get it, I know it. And 'cause I think sometimes, as in, yeah, I think I not resist because I just can't be bothered, probably more than anything else. But I know, and it's so hard because it's good. But my question to you is like, what is it when you know it's good for you, right? As in, why? And it's a pretty fast turn. It's not even a delayed thing, right? It's a relatively fast turnaround. So sometimes I get it, like eating healthy, exercising. It's a delayed thing for the benefits sometimes. So like people don't do that. But with this, it's pretty instant. So I mean, I'm more asking myself, like, why don't I just do it? Is the question. I don't know. Is the answer. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty cute, man. I think for me, Kedge, here's what my little theory. I noticed the people who put more energy in get more out. So, for example, presumably you guys have had so for example, there's probably people out there who want quick fixes in terms of property. By the way, I was super keen to hear like a property update, even for myself personally, before the end of this. I think that'd be nice for everyone listening. But there's people out there surely who want quick fixes when it comes to property. There's people out there who don't really want to invest in learning about the strategies, or doing the work that is, like if you think about how much dedication you might not call it dedication because you actually like it, but just if you pound for pound compare the level of time and energy and effort you and Manny have put into property as opposed to someone like me, as opposed to someone who just wants a quick fix, hey, just do it, I don't fucking care. Like if you compare that, I actually would attest that the people who put in the most effort and the most energy and whatever are the people who most likely have got the most results and the most fulfillment out
Yeah.
of it. Maybe there are people who put less energy in than you, but I would disagree, to be honest, because if they put less energy into property than you, they probably put a lot of other energy into their own work. So they've still put in a lot of energy into the acquisition of that money and choosing a good person in you guys, like to delegate to, and they've probably got mad results. But my simple point is, for me, it appears that when we want quick fixes, whether that could be smoking, drinking, dopamine hits, gambling, porn, whatever, the traditional quick fixes of dopamine hits, you kind of in proportion get not very much fulfillment out of it, is my theory. Whereas when you actually put skin in the game, i.e., like in your case, Kedge, like for example, with my courses, you fucking came to my courses. Like with me, I'm coming to your shop, like for property. I'm actually, I didn't even for people listening. Kedge has multiple messages, and so does Manny, that I'm insisting that I'm 100% paying for Kedge's and Manny's buyer's agency stuff. Like there's no chance I'm going to allow that to be free, because I also want to put energy and effort in. So even Kedge, we were talking like, this is how authentic this chat is, man. Like, we were talking, just like messaging each other earlier today about all the fucking bullshit I have to do with the bank and all the stuff that I print out. You know what, man? Like, there's a part of me, I know this sounds stupid,
Yeah.
but a part of me is thinking good. That means that this property is going to make a lot of money because I have to do so much shit to make it happen. Like, I kind of feel like if it's easy, it's
Yeah.
probably not going to make that much, or it's probably going to last for that long. But the fact that I have to do all this fucking bullshit, because like I actually think it's going to be better. So, so in the same way, when it comes to, you can either think that you're grateful, or you actually can take the time and effort to write down viscerally, not just one, but 10 experiences. Like, man, you put a lot of effort into that. Same as the gym, you're going to get more out. That's my theory. I don't know what you think, man. That was probably way too long to explain a simple point.
Honestly, yeah, yeah. To be honest, like as you're saying it, I'm almost like, I already know what you're gonna say because I've heard it so many times. I know, but I just feel like I
I'm
just
sorry. I'm so sorry, Brad. I'm sorry,
no.
Brad.
In the sense, I need the reminder, man. I need the reminder. Even when I've come and helped facilitate on retreats, like I love coming back, and so even though I know it all. Like it's not new information, but it's just like there's reminders that always needed, man. So, oh man, just gonna
Fucking
make
great
sure
to
I do
be
it.
with you, bro. Fuck, man. This is like stress relieving for me, man. Thank you,
Yeah,
bro.
no, and likewise, man. It's like even this, like it helps just break the 100%. Oh man, but yeah, man. Yeah, happy to chat. As in, we can digress, chat property if you want to. You mentioned you want to get a bit of an update on what's going on.
Yeah, I know that you mentioned a lot of people are rushing in. I think we kind of are aware of what you're referring to there, but man, Kedge, unless you want to talk about something else, like maybe we can just open the floor for you to just educate us on what the fuck's going on with property at the moment and what the best things are for us to do?
Yeah. Happy to chat. The next, I think within the next 2 to 4 weeks, probably have a much better update because I think at the moment, interesting times. Now, I think I would have touched on in a previous episode. There was like changes to SMSF regulations in buying a property. So pretty much as of August 10th, which is a few days away, like if a contract is not signed by then, you can no longer borrow money in a self-managed super fund to buy property. So, which is effectively now by the time this video comes out. So it would have distorted a little bit of what's going on because there has been like prior to that some budget changes, but it's been so busy over the last 30 days because everyone that was sitting on the fence or whatever or they've just rushed in and just, I think we would have done over 30 transactions. I don't know the exact number over the since the July 2nd date when they first announced it also. Good business, like as in obviously lots of lots of people coming in, but it's also still a very important transaction. So still a lot of time, energy, building inspections failing, going back, doing so. And I can hand on heart say I feel like 30 out of 30 or whatever the number is good properties. Like no, just because of the urgency. And observation is like a lot of other people I've just seen just pay whatever, like even other buyers agents, the ones that we're putting offers in where we believe to be fair value, people are becoming 30, 40K over that and paying stupid numbers for it. So just, I think I can feel the temptation of, because obviously clients are trusting you. And if I told someone that some clients obviously are a bit more diligent and would question it, but some clients probably would have just listened to what I said and just bought it anyway. So I can see like other people who are in a desperate state, even from a buyer's agent perspective, just in a desperate state, they're struggling to find properties in good location. So, whatever. The reality is these properties, they're going to be holding it for 15, 20 years. So it will come good. But obviously our job, I believe is we're trying to, buy the best deal possible, despite whatever pressures might be out there. And that's why it's been so intense. But it's also thrown a bit of distortion in terms of what's going on in the market as well. So hence why I was saying about
Super quickly, can I just interrupt on that point? Because I know there's a lot more here.
Yeah.
I would rather, and I think you're the same, I would rather make $500,000 and know that I did it with integrity and know that I did the right thing than make $1 million and know that I fucking ripped people off and did the wrong thing.
Yeah, and the reality is like, and 100, and the reality, and I truly believe it will be temporary anyway. Like if you are ripping people off or whatever, like it's you might make more in that first year or the second year, but eventually it'll catch up with you. Like I just truly believe that. And like for a business like ours, like everything is referrals. Like, we don't advertise, no ads, no nothing. So everything has just come off the good hard work that we're doing. Other brokers who are referring us business, people like yourself who have referred us business and hearing the good stories that their clients have gotten. And so they feel confident and then tell other people. And that's just how we've grown. So, and yes, I don't think that's, never going to change. But yeah, man. And I guess, coming back to market, it is, it's hard to, I feel like I'll give a sense of what I think is going to happen. But like, all the data, all the things out there that people look at, it's all going to be somewhat distorted because there's been so much change. So for all that to then settle and then reflect in the data and be accurate is going to take a good 3 months, I would say. But from an investor perspective, may have touched on it before, but the main thing is like you're really seeing pretty much invest anywhere where the yields are not good anymore. Like investors are just not there, like just purely because there's no more negative gearing. So even though like, there might be certain parts of Western Sydney or certain pockets of Melbourne that are still probably going to have decent capital growth, but investors are, the holding cost is going to be too expensive. So it's just going to mean that it's going to be hard to do the next property and the next property after that because, so just from and ideally you want to buy into markets where there's pressure both from owner occupiers and investors, because that's what's going to put more pressure in that market to allow it to grow. So I think we're going to see a lot more like regional areas do a lot better. So one from a population standpoint, a lot of people are moving into certain regional pockets, and it doesn't necessarily need to be like massive increases. It's because and the reason to just explain that, and if I'm getting too technical, just jump in, Dim, and ask questions. But these regional centers, even if the population growth isn't massive, it is so expensive and so hard to bring on new supply in these locations. So even though the population growth isn't huge or may not be massive, it's big enough relative to the amount of new supply that can be built there, which is going to put a lot of pressure in those areas to grow. And I always use Melbourne as the example. Just Melbourne has the most population growth typically, like and recently, and international migrants, but it hasn't grown as dramatically as a lot of other places. And it's because they're one of the best states at bringing on new supply. So they've got so much flat land. The government's good, and it's from a social thing. It's probably a good thing, right? Properties are more affordable. First-time buyers can buy. Obviously, from an investment perspective, we're looking to make money. So so why we might avoid, not to say all parts of Melbourne you shouldn't buy in, but you've got to be careful because of that
Bro,
reason.
that is like such a powerful example. Just like, thank you for that real quick, man. I know and I definitely am aware there's more that you want to explain. I just wanted to bookmark it, man. Like I actually feel like I never really understood until I mean, as well as I do right now because of that
Yeah,
example. Because it's like,
yeah,
it's so tempting to just be like, well, Melbourne's the other big city. Why not Melbourne?
yeah,
And then, but what you're saying is just like, yeah, but you're right. Like, there is a lot of people coming to Melbourne. You're right. But the thing is, they're so good at managing the supply and giving more supply that the tension between the supply and the demand is not there. Whereas if you look at a more regional place, they're very limited in supply, so there's a higher tension of supply and demand. That's why my understanding of what you're saying. Is
yeah.
that correct?
No, 100%. And I just want to caveat, there are parts of Melbourne that are good to invest in. So just if there's someone listening, like, oh, you said Melbourne's not good, but yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. So certain, like in a lot of these regional centers, like it's so expensive because there's a labor shortage, so expensive to build. There's not enough land being released. So it's like, just to bring on a new house costs so much. So if the existing properties around that area are like 550, 600, just to build a new house is going to cost you 700, with the land and build costs. It's like, it's not feasible to do because no one's going to buy it. So for multiple reasons, but that's one of the biggest reasons why I feel like a lot of the regional centers, they already have been outperforming the capitals anyway, for the most part, but it will just continue to do so.
Can I ask another question, man? Thank
Of
you.
course.
Bro, I think this would be valuable for everyone listening. So I'm going to share my screen. That's what I was just pulling up in the background when you were speaking, because it made me like think of something that you were saying. I'm
Yeah.
just pulling up my screen. Bro, this is the type of stuff I keep seeing on my feed, bro. So like, yeah, so you know what, man? This is what a lot of people are seeing, right? Like, and I would love you to just shed some light if you would, man. Like, see, this one was posted 2 days ago. I haven't
Yeah.
watched it, but I saw
Yeah.
it come up, right? And it's basically like the Australian property market is crashing. Then this one, basically Australian property market is crashing 1 day ago. And then housing price slump. Like, so bro, can you help us make sense of all this?
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, I think so. Obviously, a lot of this stuff on YouTube is written that way as well, obviously to get attention, to people click on the videos for sure. But no, but that is also, so put it this way, right? So post the budget changes, that was probably the I guess, the biggest budget that I've ever seen. To be honest, prior to this budget, probably haven't paid attention to the previous ones prior to. It's just like whatever, like talk about taxes, whatever, I don't know, right? But this is the first time they've made some dramatic changes to property itself, capital gains and the negative gearing. So what's happened because of that is like, it's just scared a lot of people. Like a lot of people are scared because they don't know what it means yet. So that's number one, right? From a sentiment point of view, they don't know what that means. And in terms of house prices crashing, so when you kind of look at it from an annual perspective, annual, what am I trying to say? All of Australia perspective, or national perspective is the word I was looking for. So Sydney and Melbourne pretty much are the majority of the Australian market. So if I wish if I had some graphs, I'd bring it up. But for example, over the last 12 months, like Perth has gone up to still 20%. Like Adelaide's gone up as from a capital city perspective. I can't remember the top of my head, but close 10 to 15%. Brisbane similar. But if you look at the national average, it's like now over the last whatever period, it's like, will show like 0%. right? Because there's been parts of Sydney which have come down, parts of Melbourne that have come down, and that makes up such a big percentage of the overall market. Like and so right now over the last quarter since the changes, there's parts of Sydney, parts of Melbourne that have pulled back. So property market has come back 2 or 3%, but in that same time, and then I think I touched on this before, there's so many markets within Australia. There's still markets that have grown 10% in the last quarter. So I think it's just like, there's national headlines. You just got to be a little bit careful of.
Man, I am of the opinion that was very valuable. Thank you. Because like because this, bro, fuck, man. Like, for example, in business, sorry, you're going to say, Coach? Go for it. Yeah.
It's got to be slightly, I'm sorry, I'll just say it because I was on my mind and I'll just say it. So, but then, yes, people have been talking about like AI and how that's going to impact house prices because of unemployment as well. And then once again, just touching on, there's a lot of markets. So typically a lot of markets out there that their employment comes from manufacturing and like things that aren't likely to be disrupted by AI as well. So whereas if anything is going to be disrupted by AI, it is going to be more your capital cities where you're more corporate jobs and you're more things that for me, that further accelerates that regional push, which have got different styles of economies that don't rely on a lot of corporate where that's likely to have a thing. I don't know that, look, to be honest with the AI thing, I don't know how much the level of impact it's going to have, but I think it's like, why not hedge your bet and go into markets where it's going to, like, that are going to do well anyway, and you might as well protect yourself by going to markets that are going to have less impact. Because I think that's the other thing where people talk about why the market's going to crash. So, because everyone's going to lose their jobs apparently.
Well, bro, I think sincerely, that's such a magnificent share, man. I think this is something that is unspoken, man. I don't know if you live in this world. For me, Kedge, like, because like a lot of my business is made through Instagram and through YouTube, like like the marketing is done from Instagram and YouTube for me. So I'm not proud of this, but I feel like I kind of live in the Instagram and YouTube world.
Sure.
And the drawback of that, of one of many, is that there's all this shit that I see every single day. Like, and case in point was what I so quickly was able to just pull up on my screen. Like every day I'm seeing on YouTube, like these effectively clickbaity headlines, right? So it's just like Australian fucking housing market crashing, blah, 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 blah. Or in my case, in addition to that, I'm seeing, oh, if you're cold DMing prospects, you're an idiot. Or if you're doing a VSL, you're an idiot. Or if you're doing paid ads, you're an idiot. Like, or whatever it is, like people, like because for everyone listening, like if you think about the content that you see on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever, that content, even on the news, on traditional media, the content that we see is created by a content creator, right? It's not created by a normal, like it's created by a content creator. If it's created by a normal person, then it won't probably have the virality for us to see it. So typically the stuff that we see is created usually by a seasoned content creator. So I'm saying that point to say that as a result, like in order to get that kind of virality or get shown on your algorithm, typically what people will do is they have to say shit, like they have to have hooks, visual hooks, curiosity hooks, or whatever that make people stop the scroll and look at what's written there. And often it's a very polarizing statement. So therefore, a case in point, like Australian property market is crashing, right? So then what ends up happening is the normal people like us or whatever are scrolling this shit and they're just scrolling the headlines, right? To see what's going on in the world. But the issue is the headlines are like these insanely, like demonically, like demonic is a silly word, but it's like these like I'm just
Yeah.
making metaphor, these
Yeah.
demonically manipulated hooks designed to get your attention more than they are about the accurate truth. And then their justification is, oh yeah, but when you watch the video, I'll explain the truth, but so therefore it's effectively like so much misinformation is out there, and a lot of people are not having the time to watch all these fucking videos because that's impossible. So it's kind of like you're ending up consuming a lot of misinformation, is my humble theory, in this online world. And so that's why I think what you just did then, man, was like so important and actually kind of rare, because otherwise people don't actually fucking know like what the truth is about what the fuck's going on, in my humble.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it is hard. And I think that's I guess the pros and cons of living in the world that we do. I guess we've got access to more information than ever. So if we choose to dive into that information, we can become a subject matter expert in many topics pretty quickly. But on the contrary, if you want to have as to your words, like a lazy look, at whatever that subject is, then we can very easily get swayed because of that content as well. Because I guess everyone's got an agenda for why they're doing it. So it's just, I guess it is just the nature of the world we live in. And slowly, like you find people that you trust in your respective spaces that you can, I guess, go a bit deeper with on certain topics if you need to. And then, might take time to decipher who those people are for your respective spaces. But I think that's just taking the time to do that.
Yeah, man, I think that's really well said. Bro, I know we only got like a couple of minutes left. I just wanted to ask, like, was there anything else that, like, you wanted to share, or I don't know if we derailed the conversation or anything. I just wanted to just check. Is there anything else that you felt compelled to share or
No,
think?
not at all, man. It's just good to just get on and speak. As I mentioned, having a bit of a slower week as I kind of touched on, and so yeah, nothing, no major updates at all. Just doing the usual, but just good to just get on and have a chat, man.
Same, man. I actually like sincerely feel better, like
Yeah,
just from chatting and having a laugh, man.
yeah, yeah, man.
um,
Nah.
yeah. Hey, bro, real quick, have you seen any of the stuff with Kyle and Jackie O recently? I know it's like we never would talk about this
As
stuff.
in, I know the high level, like what happened and how he left the show and because of something, but what? No, I don't know, but what specifically?
Man, I've actually seen some cool shit like the guy from Carl Stefanovic is his name?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
Carl? Yeah.
What? Yeah.
So yeah, Carl did an interview with Kyle Sandilands
Oh,
recently.
right. Yeah.
And man, I actually really, really liked listening to it. I think that um it was very beautiful, man. Like one of the things that Kyle said was, he came to realize that, like, he spoke about his childhood because he had some time when he was homeless in his childhood. I didn't even know that. Maybe everyone knows that. I just didn't know. But it was like Kyle Sandilands like had some time in his childhood where he was homeless, and the meaning that he created as a child was that he wasn't lovable, and and so he came to realize that a lot of his life afterwards. You know how he comes across as pretty like stern and direct and kind
Mm.
of like, yeah, which I think has served him so gorgeously, and I'm not even trying to poo poo it. It's fine. Like, but he realized a lot of that that hardness that he uh has come because he kind of just thought, I'm not going to be lovable anyway, so I've just got to assert myself in some way. I thought that was a very beautiful like reflection that he said, because he
Yeah,
was
good
just
on him. Good on
reflecting
him
on.
for good on him for like just having the awareness to be able to observe that in himself. It's like, yeah, just wouldn't have even thought that he thought that deeply about things. So like that's cool, man.
Yeah, man, and just like the way that, yeah, that's what I thought, and then just like even the way that he spoke about Jackie, I thought was very, very beautiful and equanimous. He was just like, man, you know what? Like, when I heard that she felt this way, because apparently he's not allowed to talk to her at the moment because of the
Sure.
legal
Yeah.
stuff. So he's like, man, honestly, and people are, he was asked like, bro, how did you um feel when you heard this shit? And he was like, man, honestly, I felt sad. I felt sad because she's my friend, and she's like a sister, And I felt sad that she's suffering. I don't care. He was more or less saying, I don't care who's right and who's wrong. Basically, she's probably misperceived some stuff. Maybe I've done some stuff that I didn't realize. I don't know. Who the
Mm,
fuck knows? Probably, but all of it. But
mm,
I'm who cares who's right or wrong? I'm just sad that my friend, someone like a sister to me, feels so hurt,
mm,
and then I remember like reading, like, I think someone like wrote this as a comment. And I don't know if this is true or not, it could be fabricated, but basically they said, like, it doesn't surprise me, by the way. It was just like, because you know how Kyle was a judge on Australian Idol or whatever.
sure.
So and so, for everyone's context, if you don't know who Kyle Sandilands is, like, he's got a reputation of being like a real tough guy, a bit of a dick, like real blunt, real direct. Anyway, like, Kyle was a judge on Australian Idol, and basically the comment read, my daughter was on Australian Idol, and actually, like, Kyle was the warmest,
Yeah.
sweetest guy to her. And when she was going through hard times, Kyle was just like real soft and compassionate and gentle. And when she bombed out in the end, like, Kyle was the one that was just reassuring her that everything's going to be okay and blah, 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 blah. And I think I can actually finish on a sweet point here, man. Basically, and it was saying, actually, ironically, a lot of the other judges, the way that the text wrote it, the comment wrote it, was like the other judges were just not giving a fuck, basically. I mean, that could be a skewed perception. Maybe it was the other judges were too busy, it could be said. But the point that this lady was trying to make was, Kyle actually was really making the effort to basically be a good guy and a good mentor for these people. And hopefully I don't lose people here when I say what I'm about to say, but like, uh, one of the most powerful methodologies and processes I've ever learned in my whole life is called the Demartini Method. It's the big one that we use to help people who've gone through hard things, including rape, kidnapping, torture, like, through, or just abusive parents, or whatever, right? Like, this is like I would say, one of the best methodologies in the whole world. And it's one that we use to help people resolve their trauma. Executive summary. Anyway, one of the questions in that is, okay, what is the trait that you're judging this person for? So in my case, like, I had judged my dad for being like emotionally volatile, say, for example, right? And what ends up happening is this person that we're angry at. So a lot of people have issues with their parents, right? And so when you ask them, okay, what's the issue with your parents? And then they might say, well, my dad or my mum was like this, and they'll say the trait or the action or the behavior that the mum did or the dad did that made it so terrible. Sometimes people start with a huge label. They just, oh, he was a narcissist, right? So when you strip away the label, it's like, okay, so what did they actually do that leads you to giving the label of he's a narcissist? And then uh, then the person might say, oh, well, he fucking was emotionally volatile, let's say, right? So one of the most powerful. So then what ends up happening is people exacerbate their trauma by running away and creating a whole story about this person being this way, and painting all the other events with that lens, and then therefore not really seeing the real truth, but they have instead a story that's causing them a lot of pain. And one of the questions that is in the method is, okay, what's the exact opposite of the trait that you are saying that this person was like that you don't like? And so the opposite of emotionally volatile, say, would be, I don't know, maybe emotionally resilient or emotionally stoic or emotionally calm or whatever. And then the question in the method is, okay, well, write down 20 to 50 times where you've actually seen this person being the opposite, where you've seen this person being emotionally stoic or resilient or calm or grounded. And initially, because people have such a strong story that, no, they're not like that, they're emotionally volatile, they don't see it. But when you actually force yourself to be accountable and actually look, what I personally came to realize, Kedge, and I cried 1,000 tears when I came to this realization. I realized, man, I, for me, had been so rude and such a dick to my life, to my dad. for so long. And despite my behavior, there were so many times where he was actually calm, where he was still trying to be nice. Like I feel, like there were so many times where because I had this story about him, I just treated him like crap, man. And and despite my resentment that was just coming through in the way I was being, in my short answers, in whatever, despite me being that way, he would still come with a smile, being gentle, being nice. And I just realized, and I just realized, man, who am I to blame this guy for being emotionally volatile? I would be emotionally volatile for much less. And I realized when I think about my own behavior in that situation, he's actually one of the most emotionally resilient and lovely and calm people I ever knew. And it still brings tears to my eyes saying this story, man. And it was incredibly healing. And the broader point I'm trying to make is like, it's so easy to get caught up on a label and a story and paint someone with a brush. But actually, what I've come to notice, man, is like we all have all the traits. And in Kyle Sandilands' case, for example, it's easy to paint him as being, I don't know what you would call that word, just blunt or rude or whatever. But that it's basically to the mathematical extent that he's blunt or rude in one aspect, is to the exact same mathematical extent he's actually real nice, nurturing, whatever, to one or many people in another way. I'll quickly just say, like, there was one guy that I helped, like, who really hated his sister. It was this huge healing for him. And he was saying all this stuff about how awful his sister was, etc., etc. And then I asked him this question, bro, where is your sister the exact opposite? And it took him a while, but when he realized it, dude, he cried for like half an hour. He just went outside and cried because he realized his sister was really sweet, really loving, really caring, really nurturing to animals. And he came to realize from his sister's point of view that his sister was not able to feel understood by her family. So the only place that she could feel understood was with animals. And so that's where she could be her loving, authentic self. And I think when my client saw life from his sister's point of view, he realized, how much of a dick he had been to her, and actually just started to appreciate her as an individual, man. And it's so if I was to just quickly zoom out and just on the Kyle thing that got me into it, I was simply just gonna say, man, like, um it's very beautiful to see, like, to get to know, despite what the initial image looks like, to get to know the real person. I think it's so beautiful, man. I know that was a bit of a sidetrack, but thanks for listening to that story, man.
No, it's good, man. I think I think even ages ago, like even like long form content, I think that's why it's so good, because you can get into the nuances of it. It's not like you can get to know even that. I guess a lot of that came from that interview you watched with Carl, and it's like he had the time to go into that and talk about that and show that side of him clearly, which you don't always get the chance. And I think part of it is even that character. I'm sure a lot of it was put on as well, right? Because that's just, once again, got attention or whatever.
What gets attention?
Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah, man. I know we've gone over, but I just want to ask one. You can answer in a very, very quick way. I just want to ask this question. So that Demartini method that you're staring at. So I guess, is the method like it is always true? So what if you were doing that exercise and you just could not find anything, or is it if you always look deep enough, you will?
You will. You will,
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
answer to the question.
Yeah.
The reason being is simply because how the brain works. So the brain only works from contrast. So for example, if everything's all white, you can't see something, right? You need to have kind of shades of white. You need to have contrast to be able to discern objects somewhere. So therefore, then it's our mind which is discerning contrast between two things. And then if we have a infatuation towards a certain trait, then we're going to see a certain trait and then gas it up whereas we see the opposite trait and we're going to resent the
Yeah.
fuck out of it. So it's basically our own infatuations and resentments, which is collecting the data and creating these skewed stories.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the data is always there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No. Thanks for sharing, man. Oh, Matt, feel free to wrap things up. I think we are well and truly.
By all means, I think it's been a really sweet call, man. Thank you for your flexibility because I couldn't do it yesterday, man. And um man, I actually just like I'm actually just really mean it, man. Like it's nice to talk, man. I feel a lot better just chatting.
Yeah, no, I honestly feel this. Like I started this course telling you how I was feeling this week as well, man. So, and I feel the same way. So I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad we ended up doing it and not leaving it to next week. So, no, I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate you for all the people out there just hearing our little stories and updates.
Yeah, I know. For everyone listening, I don't know what you guys thought of today's episode. We was just two friends catching up. Really, is what it was.
Yeah.
But I hope you found it enjoyable. Thank you so much for following along. Kedge, any final words from you before we wrap up?
No, like once again, yeah, like you said, like a bit of just a catch up between friends, and I'm sure this is the kind of lives that you guys live as well, and hopefully there's some similarities that you notice and some things that you guys took away, and yeah, we'll look forward to keep sharing along the way as well. Not always the great stuff, but some of the challenging stuff too, like as we talked about this week.
Perfect. Well, love you all. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.